At Thanksgiving dinner at my aunt's house in Oregon, my sister, Amanda, suddenly stood up, raised her wine glass, and announced, "We took a vote, and you're no longer part of this family." Soft laughter rippled across the table. I smiled slightly. "Then I suppose you won't need this," I said, placing a thick folder on the table. Amanda opened it with a smug look and immediately went pale. "Before we carve the turkey," Amanda said, rising from her chair, her voice sharp as a blade, "there's something we need to get straight." Everyone went quiet. Forks froze mid-air. I knew that voice, the same voice that got me blamed in high school for something I didn't even do. "We had a family meeting," Amanda continued, smiling like a corporate CEO, "and we agreed you're no longer one of us." The whole table clapped. Uncle Roy even whistled. My mom, my own mother, shook her head like a burden was lifted. Finally, I froze. My dad sipped his beer and muttered, "Maybe it's for the best." I slowly pushed my chair back, voice steady. "Impressive. How long did you rehearse this little skit?" Amanda smirked. "You've always been the toxic one. We just don't have to pretend anymore." "You're not family anymore," my mother said, pouring cranberry sauce like she was discussing the weather. I looked around. No one said a word. "All right," I said, reaching into my bag. I figured this might happen. I pulled out a thick folder and placed it on the table. The thunk it made felt like a declaration of war. Amanda squinted. "What is this?" I leaned back, arms crossed. "Take a look." She opened it. Her smile vanished on the first page. Her eyes scanned the next page, then another. Her face turned pale. Her eyes darted. Flip. Then another. Then she screamed like she was on fire. Her chair toppled back as she stood up so fast, slamming the folder shut like it burned her hands. "You freak! You lunatic!" Gasps echoed around the table. Her husband, Tyler, snatched the folder. He stared at me. "Is this?" I nodded. Every line, every receipt, screenshots, bank statements. The table fell silent. Even the fridge's hum was loud now. My mother opened her mouth, then closed it, like a fish gasping on dry land. "You thought I'd always stay quiet," I said, standing. "You really thought I'd always be the quiet one, the doormat, the ATM." I leaned in, eyes locked with Amanda's. "But this little show is over." Want to know what was in the folder? I'll tell you. But first, let me tell you how we got here. Aaron didn't just wake up one morning in Denver and decide, "You're not my brother anymore." That decision was built over years. Each complaint, each contemptuous glance, each tiny manipulation stacked like bricks into a cold wall. I was never the favored child. Not once. Amanda was always the little queen. Full ride to UCLA, perfect in every photo, and always knew how to charm the room. She could lie so smoothly, people would thank her for it. Me, quiet, inward, no need for attention. They hated that. They took my silence as weakness. I moved out at 20, put myself through San Jose State with 2 jobs. Meanwhile, Amanda dropped biology, found herself in France, and came back married to Tyler, who looked like a walking Forbes cover. I paid half of their wedding costs. My parents weren't well off, yet somehow managed a 3-week Caribbean cruise right after. I never complained. Not once. They jokingly called me the family treasurer. Half a joke, half expectation. And I still sent money. Electric bills, Dad's hospital costs, tuition for my cousin Marissa when she lost her scholarship. "Thanks," they said. But it always sounded like, "Of course. What else would you do with your money?" Maybe that was the issue. I'm single. No kids. No partner. Just me, my little Oakland apartment, and a cat named Murphy. To them, that meant I had nothing better to do but help, always, especially Amanda. She saw me as her personal bailout fund. Tyler lost his job? Me. Their car got towed? Me. Their kid needed therapy? Me. And I helped. Every time. But help turned into obligation, then into entitlement. It started with mild digs. Oh, you brought wine? Must be nice having that extra money. Of course you're early. No kids to deal with. Wish I could work late every night and avoid my husband like you. Then harsher. You don't know what real family responsibility feels like. You don't have a real life, just bitterness because no one needs you. But they did need me. Constantly. Financially. Quietly. Behind closed doors. Then came the texts. Amanda. Can you co-sign our cookie shop loan? Me. No. Amanda. Wow. Seriously? Then came 3 months of silence. No calls from mom. Dad's texts. One-word replies. Okay. I was excluded from the last family dinner. Amanda blocked me on social media. Social media blew up after I posted a story about cutting ties with toxic people. But I wasn't sitting around feeling sorry for myself. Instead, I started pulling out the receipts, the real ones. I opened the file, the emails, screenshots, wire transfers, receipts. In 5 years, I'd shelled out over $83,000. $83,000, including $7,200 for Lucas's rehab, $2,800 for Amanda's veneers, $11,000 for Marissa's college, $5,000 for a family emergency in Lake Tahoe, which turned out to be a ski trip. No one ever paid me back. They just kept taking. And when I stopped giving, they decided I was the problem. I printed everything and placed it in a folder. Then I handed it to Amanda at the family sit-down. Every transfer receipt, every email and text asking for money, a screenshot of Amanda calling me a manipulative asshole to her friend just because I refused a loan, a timeline of every major payment I'd made over 5 years. And to top it off, I printed Facebook and Instagram posts where they mocked me. I even had a screenshot of Amanda calling me a spineless cash cow in a private comment thread, one she didn't know I had access to. And that is what she saw when she opened the folder. That's what made her scream. Because Amanda wasn't just being exposed, she was being documented, line by line, page by page. And as it happened, the rest of the family began to realize what they had done. She screamed. Her face turned white. Tyler stared at the page that said $4,600 on credit card at San Diego hotel with someone named Riley. What is this? He asked. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The truth spoke loud enough. The first time in my life, I didn't need to defend myself. I simply showed them the truth. My mother finally spoke, her voice trembling. Do you keep records of all this? I turned to her calmly. Because you never remember, someone has to. Amanda stood still, face pale, hands clenched. She glanced at Joel, then me, then the file. This is an invasion of privacy, she said. You have no right. I stood up slowly. You just declared I'm no longer part of this family. Now you're angry because I came prepared? Tyler flipped another page. What's this about Santa Monica? Amanda turned sharply towards him. Don't start. Who's Riley? He continued. Why were you at a hotel for 3 nights on my credit card? She remained silent. My mother interjected. Can't we calm down and talk this through? I replied. Let's talk about when you called me a parasite while holding the check I sent. She blinked. That's not fair. We were under a lot of pressure then. I said firmly. You were under pressure. And I saved you time and again. But the one time I said no, suddenly I'm the enemy. My father spoke up. You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. I turned to him. You let them do this to me for years. You knew. You saw, you heard, and you let it continue because it was easier than standing up for me. He didn't deny it. Amanda slammed her hand on the table. You're just bitter because no one needs you anymore, I said coldly. I'm done. She laughed mockingly. You're pathetic. You think this makes you a victim? Number. You're just proving you're a control freak, I responded. You only care about me when I'm paying the bills. You don't get to play the victim, she shouted. I stepped forward. You expected it every time until it didn't help anymore. It was an obligation. And when I stopped, you all voted me out of the family. My voice cracked, not from sadness, but from anger. You didn't need a brother. You needed a walking wallet. Tyler stood up too, holding the file. Is this true? He looked at Amanda. Amanda looked at him, and for the first time, she had no excuse. No fake tears, no deflection, just silence. You lied to me, he said. About the hotel, the money, even about him. You made it seem like he was crazy. I had to, she screamed. He was turning everyone against me. I said, you did that to yourself. The room fell silent again. My mother leaned forward, her voice softening. Listen, dear. Maybe we overreacted, but we're still family. And family forgives. Let's just move past this, okay? I interrupted. You don't understand. She blinked. Understand what? I'm not asking for reconciliation. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm saying I'm done. Amanda sneered. Oh, please. You've said that before. I looked her straight in the eyes. Never like this time. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out another envelope. What's this now? My father asked, clearly exhausted. I tossed the envelope onto the table. Tyler grabbed it before it slid off the edge. He opened it, read the first line. His eyes widened. What is this? He whispered. I answered, revocation of legal power of attorney for Mom, cancellation of medical proxy, removal from emergency contact lists. I've signed them all. From now on, I have no legal or emotional responsibility for any of you. My mother gasped in shock. You're cutting us off completely? Completely, I said. From now on. You're so selfish, she began to cry. We made mistakes, but we're still your family. I turned to her, my voice lowered, calm, resolute. No, you're not. I slipped on my smoke-colored trench coat, glanced at them one last time, and walked out of the Vermont cabin, leaving them in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner, stunned, silent, surrounded by cold food and unveiled truths. I didn't look back. Not because it didn't hurt. It hurt deeply. But as the wooden door shut behind me and I stepped into the biting cold, something inside me cracked open and drifted away. For the first time in years, I could breathe. I didn't drive home right away. I turned onto a dirt road leading to the old dock by Lake Michigan, where Dad and I used to fish every summer. I sat there, staring out at the black stillness of the lake, feeling something I thought I'd lost. Freedom from every burden. No more guilt. No more midnight texts labeled urgent just to ask for money. No more second-guessing my own kindness. The days that followed, silence. But by the third day, the messages came pouring in. First, Mom, 3 missed calls, then a tear-choked voicemail. You can't just cut us off like this. We're family. I didn't answer. Then came a text from Amanda, my cousin. You blew everything up. Tyler walked out. Happy now? Then Dad, you think this is strength? This is destruction. Your mom cried 3 nights straight. Come back and fix it. I didn't respond to any of them. And honestly, I thought I'd feel guilty. I thought I'd lie awake each night wondering if I'd gone too far. But instead, I slept better than I had in years. No more second-guessing every text. No more waiting for the next awful thing. No more Venmo requests in the middle of the night disguised as emergencies, but really just guilt trips. For the first time in a decade, I could hear myself think. I woke up early, ran through the Riverside Park, brewed coffee slowly, and sat by the window sipping it. I scheduled appointments with the dentist, a doctor, and a therapist, for the first time in over a decade. I changed all my passwords, froze every joint account, removed my parents from emergency contacts. I blocked Amanda on every platform. It wasn't revenge, it was closure. A week after Thanksgiving, I got a message from Marisa, my cousin. You paid my tuition? I'm sorry, I got swept up. You were the only one who actually helped me. I didn't reply, but I read that message 3 times. Then unexpectedly, a message from Tyler. I left. Everything you said, it was right. She manipulated all of us. I owe you more than I realized. A few days later, I applied for a job in Portland. Not because I was running, but because I was finally allowed to choose. No more, you should stay close to home. No more, who'll take care of them if you leave? I reconnected with old friends, the ones I had pushed away to take care of the family. And the craziest part, some people saw my Reddit post. They messaged, "You did the right thing. You're strong." No one asked for anything, just support, simple and honest. Someone asked me, "Do you regret it?" I said, "I only regret not doing it sooner." I thought that was the end. But with people like them, nothing ever truly ends. The weeks after Thanksgiving were eerily peaceful. No calls, no guilt, just peace. Until Christmas. December 22nd, Mom sent a photo of the living room, the tree half decorated, a gaping space where my gifts used to go. Caption: Without you, everything feels cold. Nana keeps asking why cousin didn't come this year. I stared at that photo for a long time. No apology, no admission, just the familiar blame, just that same manipulative tone. Look what you've done, look who you're hurting. I didn't reply. December 23rd, Amanda called. I let it ring. Then the text. You can't just abandon everyone like this. 2 minutes later. Mom and Dad are about to lose the house. I know you don't care anymore, but you should know. Still a request. Always wrapped in guilt. Always disguised in soft fabric. But always, ask. I blocked the number. December 24th, Dad texted, You made your point. But that's enough. We're still blood. I sat alone by the fireplace, a glass of Cabernet in hand, looking around my small apartment, quiet and under no one's control. For the first time in my life, I was grateful for the silence, but it wasn't over. In January, a call from an unknown number. I answered. Is this Mary? Yes. Who's this? I asked. I'm Maxime calling on behalf of your father. He says you're still the executor of the family trust. I froze. I stepped down 2 months ago. The family attorney handled it. My name's off everything. The man paused for a moment. I see. Mr. Dean said he hasn't been able to reach you directly, so he asked me to look into other options. They're in a pretty desperate situation right now. Of course, it was Amanda and my parents. They had burned every bridge. The bank accounts were empty, the credit cards maxed out, and the safety net had become a fantasy. They were scrambling now, reaching out to anyone, even through strangers. I hung up without saying another word, but the final straw came on a cold February morning. I received an envelope, handwritten, no return address. I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly. Inside was a 3-page letter. The first page was full of tear-streaked regrets. We said terrible things in the heat of the moment. You've always been the strong one. We didn't realize how much we depended on you. The second page went straight for the guilt. Dad's health is getting worse. Amanda is completely lost. We're worried about little Nana. She's doing remote schooling and being bullied. The last page, the familiar bait. We're about to sell the house in Phoenix, but the market value is less than what we owe. We just need a little help to get through this. We promise never to ask again. Please, Mary, for your father, for the family. I sat with the letter for a long while, letting every emotion they wanted me to feel wash over me. Duty, guilt, and the desperate urge to fix what couldn't be fixed. Then I folded it up, stood, walked into the kitchen, and dropped it into the trash. The truth is, they didn't want help. They wanted control again. They didn't need me as a son. They wanted the old version of me, the one who never said no, the one who paid silently, sacrificed quietly, and endured everything without a word. But that version of me no longer exists. I'm no longer their sacrifice, their ATM, their structural crutch keeping the collapsing house upright. I was done, and the thing that terrified them most, I was doing just fine without them. I had a new job in Seattle, a bigger apartment, a clean start. I volunteered on weekends, not out of duty, but because I chose to. I built a life with no more midnight calls asking me to patch someone else's mess. A life where independence isn't punished and kindness isn't a loan to be repaid. I don't regret helping, only that it took me so long to stop. You want to know what real peace feels like? It's not being surrounded by loved ones. It's being free from people who only call you family when they need something. Update. Months later. I never expected that post to spread the way it did. Honestly, I just needed to get it off my chest. But I read every single comment. People said, "You're strong. They don't deserve you." Thank you. I didn't realize how badly I needed to hear that until I did. Some asked, "But what if they change?" I asked myself that too. It's been over 6 months. They haven't changed. After I cut contact, after handling their paperwork, the fights, the endless silences and half-truth letters, I used to hope, maybe someone will finally understand. They'd reflect. They'd say, "We're sorry, Mary." But no, they stayed silent for a while. Then they started calling my friends, trying to apply pressure indirectly. Then came desperation, and then right back to their toxic patterns. And me? I was free. I moved to Portland. I found a new job, one where I didn't wake up at 2 a.m. worrying someone had messed up again. I started therapy, real therapy for the first time. The kind that teaches you to stop fixing others and start understanding yourself. I cook for myself now. I sleep better. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. Yes, sometimes I still think about Nana, about what she's growing up with, about what she might come to believe is normal. But I know this too. I've been the example of someone brave enough to say, enough. A few days ago, I got a handwritten letter from Mom, Joan. Just 3 words. We're still family. No explanation, no apology, no change, just the same old bait. And for the first time, I felt absolutely nothing. Not angry, not sad, not expecting anything. I tore it up, tossed it in the trash, and went back to making dinner. Now I've come back here because this space gave me a clarity I never expected. Strangers saw me more clearly than my own blood ever did. So, I want to ask, did I do the right thing, pulling out of the chaos, rejecting the burden, and meaning it when I said no? Was I too cold? Or was I just no longer the only one trying to patch a sinking ship? I'm not sure, but I know this. For the first time in my life, I'm not just surviving. I'm truly living. Thanks for reading. Thanks for still listening.